Very obvious in its eye. Notice how big the pupil is. Okay, this indicates nervous tension. Okay, so your adrenals are weak. If you look closely around the pupil, you will see a dark ring around the pupil. That's the malabsorption ring. That means you're not absorbing nutrients properly. Okay, this is often due to the mucoid plaque blocking the small intestines. If you look closely as well, see those fine lines leaching out of the pupil. That's something called radii solaris. This indicates toxic tunnels of waste from the bowels leaching out to other body parts and glands, especially in the head region here. Okay, the bowels are very onto the chronic side. All this here are the bowels. You see how constricted, small it is right here. Okay, these are bowels. The small intestines and the ascending colon. You can see it. It balloons out a bit, so it's spastic, and then the transverse colon here, it's prolapses a bit, and then the descending colon as well. It's spastic here, and then protrudes out here as well. So the bowels are pressing. You need to clean the bowels out. It's very important. Okay. The brain section has a lot of mucus or lymph stagnation. All this is the brain section right here. Heavy lymph. If you look closely around the eye, you see a dark ring around the eye. This is a skin ring. This means you're not sweating properly, and also it's often due to weak thyroid and weak filtering kidneys. Okay, so these need to be addressed. This is a brown eye, but if you look at the color, it looks almost like a light brown. That's that thick cloud-like structure all over the eye. That's lymph stagnation. This means your lymph system is not moving properly. Okay, you gotta move it with the 100% fruit diet, and like a lemon olive cleanse would be perfect for this, or a dark grape olive cleanse would be good for this. But this is quite thick, and it takes a bit of time to clear out. Look around the bowel. See that white line going around the bowels? That's called an autonomic nerve wreath. This indicates weak digestion. Also means a weak nervous system, again due to weak adrenals. So this needs to be addressed. Right here is the pineal gland. Look at it, how dark it is. That affects sleep. Okay, so possible insomnia can arise. Right here is the pituitary gland. Look how dark it is. The pituitary gland is a gland that's called the master gland. It controls all the other endocrine glands. If it's weak, everything else is weak, which explains the weak adrenals, which explains the weak pineal gland. So you need to address this. Use a pituitary tincture or glandula. Right here is where the cerebellum is. Okay, the sex impulse is right here. That's the libido. And right here is the medulla and the mastoid region. You can see it's all heavy lymph stagnation here. This needs to be detoxed. If you go on the neurological tincture, it addresses the brain and nerves. So you can use that to apply to this area. Right here is the neck and the shoulder region. You can see it's the chronic side. See that dark line there? Okay, that's heavy lymph stagnation or congestion. This needs to be detoxed. Right here is the heart region. You can see it's the heavy side, lymph stagnation. Okay. Right here is the upper and lower lung region. As you can see, it's dark, heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. You can use respiratory tincture here, okay, to clean up the lungs. And for the heart, if you use the neurological tincture I mentioned here, or the circulatory tincture too, it will boost blood flow to the area, so to keep the heart nice and strong with blood. Right here is the breast region. Okay, you can see it's quite heavy with lymph. This entire section here is the rib breast region, chest region. Heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. It's very dark. Again, the circulation tinctures I mentioned here would help you here as well. Right here is the diaphragm region. You can see it's quite heavy with lymph. And right here, the dark line is where the spleen is located. Heavy lymph stagnation here as well. Spleen is what cleans the blood. Okay, so we need to address that. Okay, to clean the blood, use a spleen tincture. Right here is where the testes and ovaries section is, and also right here the pancreas. Okay, these are heavy with lymph stagnation. Then move to the chronic side. So use a liver and pancreas tincture. That will help the liver and the pancreas at the same time. Okay, and for the female reproductive area, you can use the glands, female reproductive glands tincture as well. This will help clean it up as well. Right here is the pelvis region, the urethra, and the groin region. Okay, you can see it's quite heavy with lymph. All here is the lower part of the body. Again, the female reproductive tincture will address it. Okay, right here is the left foot, knee, and thigh region. You can see it's the chronic side. Okay, this needs to be addressed as well. Right here is the adrenals. You can see the chronic side. Remember when I said when the adrenals are weak, you're gonna have the nerve rings. Okay, and the autonomic nerve ring around the eye. Okay, because if you look closely around the eye, you see very slight rings going round and around the eye. That's the nerve ring. That's due to weak adrenals. Remember, the adrenals also control the kidneys. When they are weak, the kidneys will also be weak. Kidneys are also congested as well. So use an adrenal tincture, use a kidney tincture. It's very important. Right here is the uterus and the vagina region. You can see it's dark here. It's to the chronic side. You move it to the chronic side. If you use the female reproductive tincture, as I mentioned here, it also addresses that as well. Okay. Right here is the anus region as well. You can see it's quite heavy with lymph. Right here is the bladder region. Okay, also heavy with lymph stagnation. If you address the kidneys, the bladder will take care of itself as well. Okay. Now, you see right here is the lower back, right here is the middle back, and right here is the upper back region. You can see it's quite heavy. And here the spine runs right across it here. So this needs to be detoxed because it's heavy congestion there, thick lymph stagnation. And right here is the scapular region, right here is the esophagus region, and right here is the voice box region. Okay, this is throat section, also quite heavy with lymph stagnation and congestion. Right here is the thyroid region. Okay, it's being blocked by a little light, but you can see how thick it is. So the thyroid is weak. Besides the parathyroid here, and right here is the tonsils. Okay, all heavy with lymph stagnation and congestion. When the thyroid is weak, you will have the skin ring. As you can see, you have a thick skin ring around the eye. Okay, so that needs to be addressed. Sweat more. Try and do some steam sauna or dry sauna. Exercise, light exercise like walking. Try and break a sweat to help the skin eliminate waste. Right here is the lower jaw region, the upper jaw region right here. Okay, the mouth, the nose, and the eye region. See that dark line going there? That hits the eye. So eyes also move to the chronic side. This is what you call the sinuses. All those I just mentioned are sinuses. So use like steam with eucalyptus oil and breathe it in. Okay, or chew horseradish root. This will help break down all the mucus, so you can expel it. Clean the ears, use ear candle, etc. Anything you can do to relieve congestion of the head or sinuses, you should do it, because there's a lot of congestion here. Now, as I mentioned, the brain section, all this here is the brain section. It's heavy lymph stagnation. It's very thick-looking cloud-like structure. Okay, so use the neurological tincture 1 to push blood flow there to help the nerves and brain functions strengthen. The very top part of this is the hair and scalp region. You can see it's moving to the chronic side as well. And this needs to be detoxed. So the most pressing thing for me in the eye is nervous tension, the adrenals and kidneys. Okay, the bowels, very important to address. The brain and nerve. Use neurological 1 tincture. Use the circulation tincture as well. Okay, to push blood flow here as well. It's very important. And there's quite a bit of cholesterol in the eye. You see that purple hue around the eye? That's cholesterol. And look at the actual purple in the actual pupil itself. That's cholesterol. That's potential cataract issues. So clean the head and clean the brain section. Use the neurological 1 and this circulation 2 tincture to boost blood flow, to clean it up. Okay, and clean the gut. You can see also around the eye here there's a lot of inflammation. The red. Okay, that shows high acidosis. Again, fix it with 100% fruit diet, get the kidneys to filter, get the adrenals working properly, move the lymph system. Overall, you should be on 100% fruit diet because this is very heavy lymph stagnation. So you need to get the kidneys to filter, you need to get the adrenals working properly to remove all this lymph. Okay, clean the bowels. And if you just follow those simple steps with the herbs, this should clear up nicely, but it will take a bit of time because, like I mentioned, this is heavy lymph stagnation or congestion. Use the GI cleaner to clean the bowels and to remove the mucus plaque over here. And a lemon only cleanse or dark grape only diet will take you a long way in detoxing this.